Hi, my name is Kaneet.
Hi, my name is Kedra.
I'm Jean.
I'm Laura.
My name is Dance.
And today we'll be educating you on ethics and business ethics by telling you a true story about a company that had one of the largest corporate ethics scandals of the 21st century. To begin,
we'd like to tell you about ethics.
When it comes to ethics, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Ethics is knowing right from wrong.
Exactly. Ethics are moral principles that govern a person's behavior. And in the context of business, that definition is slightly different.
How so?
As scholar Jamie Lynn and Jason Piper states, an individual's moral judgment about what is right or wrong is what ethics is concerned with. However, in terms of business, there are a lot more individuals.
Yes, that's true.
Therefore, when decisions are made by an organization, whether it was made by the executive or an employee, often those decisions are influenced by the corporate culture. So it's up to the head of the organization to set the norms and employees to choose right and wrong for themselves.
What's a good example of a company that's experienced an ethical dilemma similar to this before?
German automaker Volkswagen. Volkswagen's diesel emissions test scandal in 2015 is a perfect example of an unethical fraud conducted by a company. In 2015, Volkswagen was charged by the Environment Protection Agency in the United States for implementing defeat devices in their cars to pass the emission standards. According to the law, auto companies are only allowed to sell cars that meet the Clean Air Act's emission standards. However, Volkswagen could not find a way to meet the legal limits, so they had a couple of engineers design a software to fool the tests. In the lab, the car would perform within the legal limit. However, out on the road, it would go back to emitting toxins 40 times the legal limit. The company continued this fraud for nearly a decade, and in September 2015, they were charged for violations of the law and false advertisement, since they're promoting the idea that diesel cars are better for the environment, when in reality that was all of a lie. The company was emitting 40 times the legal limit of nitrogen oxide, and this was a huge violation of the anti-air pollution laws.
Wow, 40 times the legal limit sounds like serious damage.
It is. This is what nitrogen oxide does to the humans and the environment.
During fuel combustion, nitrogen combines with oxygen atoms to develop nitric oxide. A small concentration of these chemicals do not make a significant difference. However, when high levels of nitrogen are combined with oxygen, it turns into nitrogen dioxide. Not only is nitrogen dioxide a hazard to people, but it's a huge hazard to the environment. How it impacts humans is in the following. It causes inflammation in the airway. It decreases lung functioning. It increases risk of respiratory conditions, and it causes premature death in children. Not only does it negatively affect humans, but nitrogen dioxide has a negative influence on the ecosystem's health. It kills leaves that are in the growth process, affects vegetation, and forest conditions.
It impacts both bodies negatively. That's why in the United States and in Germany, there is a legal limit on emissions, and it was unethical for companies to choose profit over the well-being of society and environment. It was wrong for companies to put the risk of the planet and millions of people at risk because they are concerned with short-term business profit.
It also goes against social corporate responsibility and negatively impact the company.
The whole point of social responsibility is to ensure that the company is operating unethically. Since the scandal, the Volkswagen shareholders are filing a lawsuit against Volkswagen for the financial suffrage the scandal has caused them. They argue that the company did not tell them about the fraud before it erupted, and this purposeful action cost them millions of dollars.
Not to mention that because of the scandal, employees were forced to pay $5 billion in fine and penalty in both United States and Germany.
I think we should ask Punit who was involved and why it got so bad.
In total, there were 40 people involved in the incident. When the software was created in 2006, it was created by a group of starting engineers that wanted to impress the executives. However, in 2015, the Environmental Protection Agency found a couple of inconsistencies with the car and ordered the company to give a valid reason for the car's on-road emissions results. That's when Oliver Schmidten made a presentation in front of the executives of Volkswagen, and then CEO Martin Winterkorn, the infamous micromanager, to convince the regulators in the United States to let them continue to sell the cars. Oliver, a man who was a dedicated engineer and who even had his wedding at Volkswagen, flew to the United States with a script and a defrauding motive. As his plan failed, he ended up shedding light on the decade-long fraud. Though Oliver did not make the defrauding system, he was aware of the scandal for 3 months before it made headlines, and he was an active participant in the cover-up plan. In the United States, for his involvement in the cover-up and fraud intentions, he was sentenced to 7 years in prison, the most a person of a white-collar crime can be convicted of. However, the CEO of Volkswagen, Martin Winterkorn, was still on German land when the scandal erupted. And, since Germany has different legislations, he only had to resign as CEO and pay a heavy fine. He wasn't sentenced to any prison time. This shows the importance of understanding the environment while conducting international business. No matter what country you are from, if you're breaking the laws in the country you are operating in, you'll be tried in their court and under their law. Most importantly, it's a lesson for countries that have individuals from other countries that are operating on their land. CEO Martin Winterkorn could not be extradited because the two countries don't have any extradition treaties. Therefore, it's important to know the laws and ethical policies of the country you are operating within, because you'll be held accountable to their standards as Oliver was to the United States.
Now we know what not to do.
Well, that was our ethics video.
Hope you enjoyed it!